Welcome to Fractured Chaos.
The night I discovered my face was worth $3,000 to desperate women across America, I wasn't even getting a commission. You know that feeling when you're minding your own business, eating cereal at 11 p.m. in your underwear, and suddenly your phone lights up like a Christmas tree? Yeah, except these weren't notifications about my Spotify playlist or some influencer's latest breakdown. These were messages from women I'd never met, thanking me for the wonderful weekend and asking when I was coming back to Toledo. Toledo? I've been to Toledo exactly 0 times, unless you count that one wrong turn during a road trip where I immediately made a U-turn because the vibes were giving witness protection program. But there I was, apparently living my best life in Ohio, charming women named Brandy with an I and promising them Disney trips while asking for gas money. The first message was from Cheryl, 48, young at heart. Baby, I know you said you needed space, but I can't stop thinking about our future. The $500 should help with your car troubles. Love you, boo. I stared at my phone like it just told me my horoscope was murder. Car troubles? My car runs fine. Well, it makes that weird noise when I turn left, but that's more of a personality trait than a problem. The second message came with a photo. A screenshot of what looked like my Instagram account, except the bio read, Entrepreneur, Crypto Investor. Looking for my queen. Crypto investor? The only investment I've made recently was a $12 gas station sandwich that gave me trust issues. But the photo was definitely me. That one from my sister's wedding where I actually looked decent because my mom threatened to disown me if I didn't clean up nice. And there was my face, smiling back at me from someone else's digital life, apparently collecting money from lonely women like some kind of emotional vacuum cleaner. I did what any rational person would do. I immediately called my therapist. Just kidding. I made a bowl of cereal and started investigating like I was Sherlock Holmes with a lactose sensitivity. The fake account had 47 posts. All of me. Photos I remembered taking, photos I didn't remember taking, and photos that were definitely me but in places I'd never been. Like that one of me apparently jet skiing in Miami when I've never been on a jet ski because I have a healthy fear of both death and dolphin judgment. The comments were enlightening. Daddy looking fine. When you coming to see Mama? Can't wait for our Vegas trip. Vegas trip? I can barely afford a trip to Target. But the real kicker was in the DMs. This fake me was running a whole operation, telling Susan from Portland that he was starting a business and needed $300 for equipment, promising Jennifer from Phoenix a weekend getaway if she could help with the hotel deposit. And the worst part? He was good at it. Like disturbingly good, using just enough of my actual personality that it was believable, but adding this layer of smooth-talking bullshit that I wouldn't recognize if it slapped me in the face. Which, considering the circumstances, it basically had. I started screenshotting everything. Not because I had a plan, I just have trust issues and document everything like I'm building a case for the FBI. Turns out I basically was. That's when I noticed something in one of the tagged photos. A blurry group shot from what looked like a family barbecue, and there, in the corner, wearing that stupid Bitcoin millionaire t-shirt he got from Wish, was my cousin Sean. Of course it was Sean. Sean, who once tried to sell essential oils to our grandmother at her own birthday party. Sean, who got kicked out of a Wendy's for arguing with the cashier about the political implications of the Baconator. Sean, who still unironically says, "That's what she said" in 2025 like he invented comedy. But also Sean, who had access to my Facebook photos from family events. Sean, who knew enough about my life to make this scam believable. Sean, who was apparently funding his energy drink addiction by using my face to emotionally manipulate women across the country. I could have confronted him immediately, could have driven to his mom's house, his temporary living situation, and handled this like family. Instead, I decided to have some fun. I created a fake profile, Busty Barbara 52, recently divorced, complete with stock photos of a woman who looked like she'd survived 3 husbands and a timeshare presentation. And I slid into my own fake DMs. The response was immediate. "Hey beautiful, love your vibe. You seem like someone who appreciates the finer things in life." The finer things? This man lives in his childhood bedroom and his idea of fine dining is Taco Bell after 10 p.m. But I played along. Told him I was looking for someone real and financially stable. He ate it up like a pelican with no standards. Within 2 hours, fake Darren was telling Barbara about his cryptocurrency portfolio and his modeling career. Modeling career? The only thing I've ever modeled was disappointment. Then came the sob story. His grandmother was in the hospital. She wasn't. I'd just seen her at Costco. He needed money for the flight to see her one last time. Could Barbara help? Barbara could. Barbara sent him a Venmo request for 1 cent with the note, "For the flight, sweetie. Hope Grandma feels better. P.S. Hi, Sean, you piece of shit." The account went dark for 3 days. But I wasn't done. Oh no, I was just getting started. See, while Sean was probably having a panic attack and Googling, "Can someone sue me for using their face?" I was building a case file that would make the FBI jealous. I reached out to the women he'd scammed. All of them. Turned out there were 17 women across 12 states who thought they were dating me and had collectively given me over $3 grand. $3,000. That's more than I make in a month at my actual job. But here's the thing that really got to me. These weren't stupid women. They were teachers, nurses, single mothers working 2 jobs. Women who deserved better than being manipulated by someone who thinks cryptocurrency is pronounced cryptography. So I did what any reasonable person would do in this situation. I started a group chat, called it the Real Darren Support Group. Within 48 hours, we had a whole operation going. Screenshots, evidence, even a shared Google Doc titled Sean's Lies, a Comprehensive Analysis. Cheryl, the nurse from Michigan, had kept every conversation. She'd been suspicious when I asked for money but couldn't remember which state she lived in. Susan from Portland had reverse-searched one of the photos and found it linked to my real Instagram. She'd been investigating this longer than I had. And Jennifer from Phoenix? Jennifer had a background in fraud investigation. She walked us through exactly how to report this to the authorities and make sure it stuck. But before we went nuclear, I wanted to confront Sean myself. Family privilege, you know? I showed up at Aunt Sheila's house on a Saturday morning. She was in the garden, wearing those gloves that make you look like you're about to perform surgery on a tomato plant. Oh, Darren, how nice. Sean's upstairs, probably working on his computer projects. His computer projects, if only she knew. I walked upstairs without knocking. The door was open anyway, and there was Sean, in his natural habitat. Boxers, gaming headset, surrounded by empty Monster cans like they were protecting him from responsibility. He was on a video call and I heard him say, "Yeah, baby, I'll be there next week. Just gotta handle some business first." I cleared my throat. He turned around, and I swear his face went through all 5 stages of grief in about 2 seconds. "Oh, hey, cuz, what's up?" I held up my phone, showing him the fake Instagram account. "So, how's the modeling career going?" The color drained from his face like someone pulled a plug. "I can explain." "Oh, I'd love to hear this explanation. Start with why you think my face is worth $3 grand, because honestly, my self-esteem could use the boost." He started stammering something about opportunities and side hustles and leveraging social media presence. The man was throwing around business buzzwords like confetti at a very sad party. "Sean," I interrupted, "you're catfishing women with my face and stealing their money. That's not a side hustle. That's fraud with a layer of identity theft sprinkled on top. It's not stealing if they gave it willingly. They gave it to me. To a version of me that apparently has a crypto portfolio and a grandmother on death's door. Which, by the way, Grandma Rose is fine. I saw her at Zumba class yesterday." That's when he tried to turn it around on me. Classic Sean move. "Look, bro, you should be thanking me. I'm making you look good out there. These women think you're successful, charming, financially stable." "Sean, stop talking. I'm just saying, maybe we could work together on this. Split the profits. You get the recognition, I handle the business side." That's when I started recording. "Say that again. About splitting the profits from using my identity to scam women." He realized what was happening and lunged for my phone, but Sean's idea of physical activity is reaching for the remote, so I just stepped back and let him fall into his gaming chair. "You're recording this? That's illegal." No, Sean. What's illegal is what you've been doing for the past 4 months, but don't worry, we're going to fix this together. I sat down on his bed right on top of a pile of clothes that may or may not have been clean. Here's what happens next. You're going to message every single woman you scammed. You're going to tell them the truth, you're going to apologize, and you're going to pay them back. With what money? I already spent it. On what? He gestured vaguely around the room. Investments, equipment, business expenses. I looked around. The only new thing I could see was a mini fridge shaped like a beer can and what appeared to be a collection of Japanese body pillows. Sean, did you spend $3,000 on anime girlfriends and a novelty refrigerator? The silence was deafening. Oh my God, you did. You used money from 17 heartbroken women to buy fictional girlfriends and a place to keep your Red Bull cold. He tried to defend himself, but honestly, what defense is there for that? They're not just body pillows, they're collectibles. Sean, shut up, please, for the sake of what's left of our family tree. I stood up and walked to his computer. The dating app was still open, mid-conversation with someone named Brenda, who was apparently excited to meet up next weekend. I started typing, "Hi, Brenda. This is actually Darren's cousin, Sean. I've been using his photos to catfish women and ask for money. None of this was real. I'm sorry." Wait, what are you doing? Cleaning up your mess. I hit send and moved to the next conversation. Sean tried to stop me, but like I said, his physical fitness peaked in high school PE, and even then it was more of a gentle slope than a peak. I sent the truth to every woman in his DMs, all of them. 17 conversations that turned from, "Hey baby," to "This was all fake and I'm sorry." Some of them responded immediately. Angry, hurt, confused. A few just said, "I knew it." One woman in Texas replied with just a string of emojis that I'm pretty sure was a curse in hieroglyphics. But most of them just thanked me for telling them the truth, for not letting them keep believing in something that was never real. That hit harder than I expected. "Okay," I said, turning back to Sean. "Step 1 complete. Now for step 2. "There's a step 2? I smiled. The kind of smile that probably would have been perfect for a dating profile if I were into emotionally manipulating people for money. "Oh, Sean, we're just getting started." I pulled up Instagram and created a new account. The Real Darren Story. The bio read, "Hi, I'm the guy whose face was stolen. This is my story." The first post was a split screen. Sean's fake profile next to my real one, with the caption, "One of these Darrens is real. One of them has been asking your mom for gas money." Within an hour, it had 200 likes and 50 comments. By the end of the day, it was at 2,000 followers. People were sharing their own catfish stories, tagging friends. Someone even made a TikTok about it that got 500,000 views. But the best part? The comments on Sean's original fake account, because apparently he'd forgotten to delete it in his panic. "Bro, your cousin exposed you hard. Imagine scamming women and not even being good at it. The audacity of using someone else's face and still being broke." Sean came downstairs the next morning looking like he'd been hit by a truck full of consequences. "Darren, you gotta take that post down. People are messaging my real account. They're messaging my mom." "Yeah, that's kind of the point, Sean. This is harassment." "No, harassment is what you did to 17 women for 4 months. This is just documentation." Aunt Sheila called me that afternoon. She was not happy. "Darren, you need to take down that post about Sean. You're embarrassing the family." "Aunt Sheila, Sean embarrassed the family when he decided to become a romance scammer. I'm just making sure everyone knows it wasn't actually me." "He's your cousin. He's also a criminal. It's not that serious. He stole $3,000 from women by pretending to be me. One of them was saving up to visit her sick mother. Another one was a single mom working double shifts. How is that not serious?" The line went quiet for a long time. Finally, $3,000? $3,000. And he spent it on... I told her about the anime body pillows and the beer-shaped mini fridge. The silence that followed was the sound of a mother's heart breaking in real time. "I'll talk to him," she said quietly. Sean moved out of Aunt Sheila's house eventually. Last I heard, he was living in a studio apartment in Baltimore, working at a call center, and his dating profiles now have to include his real name and a disclaimer about his fraud conviction. The women he scammed, most of them are doing great. Susan from Portland started her own blog about online dating safety. Jennifer from Phoenix got promoted at work. Cheryl from Michigan met someone real, an actual nurse from her hospital who thinks she's amazing and has never once asked her for gas money. And me? I learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's making sure everyone knows exactly who they're dealing with. My Instagram story is still up, still getting comments from people sharing their own experiences, thanking me for speaking out, warning others about the red flags they should watch for. Because here's what I realized. Sean wasn't just stealing money. He was stealing hope, trust, the belief that good people exist and that love is possible. And that's worth fighting for. So yeah, my cousin turned my face into a criminal enterprise without giving me a cut of the profits. But in the end, I got something better than money. I got to be the hero in 17 women's stories. And Sean? Sean got to be exactly what he always was, the cautionary tale. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to make sure everyone sees it happening.